Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock, so can we open our public session, please? I have recorded Lynn Brent wants to speak to us, John Rogers and Lucy White. I assume it's all about the shop. Could I ask that you keep your addresses, for want of a better word, to the council fairly brief, then I'll open it up to the council to ask any questions of you, but say 3-5 minutes maximum, please. So, Lynn, do you want to open up the discussion, please?
Well, just to say that I'm a volunteer. I work in the shop. I know how desperately it is needed because we get the same customers day in, day out, and they are really grateful for the service we give. Plus the fact, to me, having a shop in a village, it raises the value of your own property because of a village with a shop. It adds to the value of your house. They've done it in Lymsham successfully. I don't see why there are objections here. I'd love to hear them.
Thank you, Lynn. John?
Hi, good evening. Thanks very much. I'm John Rogers, chairman of the community shop. I'm speaking in support of the position of application for planning. Basically, the shop is beneficial to the majority of villagers. We have over 140 shareholders keen on the project. Our sales are increasing since the shop has been moved. Social events are well supported by villagers, and it's actually making the village more friendly. I actually know people, and I've been here 34 years, I now know people I've never known before. We have a poor bus service, so basically the shop is beneficial should there be another lockdown, and we hope there's not going to be one, but there's a possibility of that possibly happening in the future, so that would be a massive help. We stock many items, and if, for example, there's something you don't want, the shop would get it for you by the following day. So that basically would help the older population in the village. In addition to that, we've now got 2 new developments on both sides of Brent Street. That's brought in new people. It's a lovely focal point for the people who have just joined the village to come in and meet people and find out what a lovely, friendly village we are. So basically, I think having the approval of planning would be beneficial to virtually everyone in the village. I know there's 1 or 2 people who were not that keen, but my goodness me, they're in the majority. And Lynn Brayford, who we've just spoken, her property overlooks the shop.
Yeah.
And that's basically my little say.
Thank you, John. Lucy?
I'd just like to say that continuity of the shop moving forward is vital to keep the shop going. It's not just a shop, it's a hub for lots of people, so I'm just hoping that the parish councillors will look favourably on the planning consent just to keep the shop going while we're moving forward. It's such a vital part of the village.
Thank you. Thanks. Right, you've heard from Lynn, John and Lucy, councillors. Are there any questions you want to ask in relation to what they've said?
I'm Andrea, I'm the planning lead. Just to be clear, okay, that we are going to discuss just the erection of the temporary shop this evening. That's the bit that we're interested in. The support and anything else that is relevant will be talked about at another time, but it won't be at this section. This is just about the porta cabin.
That's understood.
Yeah. Lovely, thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay. Everybody else has had their say about the shop. Are there any other items anybody else wants to speak about? Anything that hasn't registered with Ellen? No? Okay, that's lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Can I just bear in mind that when we discuss this particular planning application, it is our meeting. You are merely onlookers, for want of a better word. And please, if you don't want to listen to anything else that we say after the planning, please feel free to leave, because I know it's a cold night and it's a bit miserable here. So thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our December meeting. And I open it with the first item. Any apologies?
Nigel Summers is
Nigel
the
Summers.
only one I'm aware of.
Presumably Nigel is at
He's
work.
working, I believe. So.
Okay. Everybody happy to accept those apologies? Thank you. Declarations of interest. Bob?
And I do my normal ones, which is firstly personal interest as I have a share in the shop. Also on planning matters in addition to that one, to avoid predetermination at Sedgemoor. But also I would have been leaving anyway on the shop application because potentially people might think I am predetermined because we've been discussing it with the shop committee. And the final one is just normal personal interest as my role as district and county council.
Andy?
Predetermination on the shop probably precludes me from that particular vote.
And myself also on the shop as a shareholder and a member of the committee that's liaising with the shop committee, so I will absence myself from that one, please. Okay. Anyone else wants to declare any interests? Thank you. The minutes of the last meeting on November the 3rd have been circulated. Are you all happy that they're a true record and that I sign them as a true record? Thank you. I'll do that later. Okay, let's open planning. Andrea, I don't know who's whether that. Sorry, Bob. How are you splitting it? Are you doing them all, or is Andy doing some? Or
Shared work.
So 0016, who's doing that one? Okay.
Okay, so this is a certificate of lawfulness for the existing use of 2 small registered care homes for up to 6 people with communal living facilities, and this is at Somerset Court, Park Road. So, there are 2 types of certificates of lawfulness. One is about the applicant saying that there's something that they would like to do, and secondly is we've been doing something and maybe we now need to have some permission. Okay. So it falls under the category of the second because they've been using these buildings without the appropriate permission. We don't know how long that this has been going on, and there has been a breach because it's come in front of us, but nobody has raised any issues. Nobody has had any concerns about this, and it could be questioned whether the length of time that this has been going on for. So I've looked at Burnham-on-Sea Burnham without, and they are in support of this. It is a charity-based organisation that does an awful lot of good for not just local people, but people probably in the southwest, I would imagine, is their collection. Do we want to discuss about the use of those buildings? Do we feel that it's inappropriate? Do we feel that that permission shouldn't be given, or we should actually now say we need to put a halt on this, or do we say it hasn't caused any problems, nobody's found any problem or breach, and it's been going on for a very long time? We don't have to say we support it. We can pass no comments, but Burnham without are definitely supporting it.
This is their application,
Yeah.
really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, councillors, I think this is not our application. It's Burnham without, as Andrea said, and really it's merely confirming that we're happy with the use that the buildings have been put to. Any comments, or would someone like to
I would
propose?
straightway propose that we accept the proposal. It's caused no problems, nobody's heard anything about it, and we've got on with it maybe for a very long time. But my proposal is to be supported.
Okay, thank you, John. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Andrew? Okay, any other proposals or counter proposals? Okay, all those in
Supporting
favour?
it, and just to be clear, what is the basis of your support? The fact that it's currently exists as it
Currently in
does
use,
currently.
it's caused no problem.
Yeah.
It's existing business, isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, the next one is one that Andrew and I must depart from. So can I, Malcolm, ask you to come and take the chair, please?
And I'd also like to read a statement out just for the minute. I know you covered it slightly in your introduction, Andrea, but it needs to be formally minuted,
Yeah.
just so that there's no ambiguity about what we're actually saying. Basically, I'm reading a statement really which will be minuted as the clerk and proper officer of the parish council legally constituted. I wish to make the following statement prior to any planning considerations. As the only unelected member of the parish council and therefore no voting rights, I would like to make it clear to both members of the parish council and the public that any decision on planning application 0721 00021 for a retrospective planning approval for a porta cabin to be sited on the council-owned car park is entirely separate from any further considerations on agenda 9A. This separate matter under item 9A of this meeting agenda will be discussed in accordance with the 5 conditions laid out at the July 21st meeting under minute number 5221. Any planning decision made this evening will have no bearing or influence on the parish council's decision to provide longer-term permanent provision or financial support to the shop management committee. The application before the parish council this evening will be based entirely on valid planning grounds. Councillors Townsend, Filmer and Holmes will be declaring an interest, which of course they've done, on the grounds of predetermination, having been members of the working group associated with this. And that's basically it, and that will be minuted on these minutes, so that there can be no, as Andrew said, no ambiguity about what we're actually discussing on this particular session of the parish council meeting. Thank you. That's all I've got to say. Over to you guys.
Okay. So this is 0721 so erection of a temporary porta cabin to the village hall, to the village green in the car park at Brent Knoll. Okay, so this is retrospective planning permission. So retrospective means we've got to view it as if it hasn't happened. So it's a discussion about it's not there at the moment. So we're solely looking at the merits of the porta cabin and where it's sited. And the first thing that we need to establish is that when we were put under the issue of the shop being closed and the continuation of a building or something else being provided, a lot of people in the village were asked, different companies, and there was nothing that was seen to be acceptable. So therefore, the porta cabin was their idea to move forward to keep the shop. It's sited on ground that the parish council own, and we don't own anything else other than the car park and the park itself. We're in a bit of a tight spot now because it's there and it's happening, so we must discuss the merits of this, and we can look at reasons to object to a planning application. As it's single storey, it has no, it's not overshadowing the neighbours, and that's the consideration, and there is no loss of light to the neighbours.